Welcome back, guys. Another episode of the Jock Talk podcast. We have the fantasy edition. We have Matt. We have Brock. Brock, how we doing?
Oh, great. I'm
There
ready
we
for
go.
this fantasy 12-pack, a new segment that we've just started. So
you're damn right. We decided that a 6-pack wasn't enough for the folks.
Not for us. We got to finish a 12-pack.
Double it up. So we got our picks for you guys who we think are going to be the fantasy studs and the fantasy duds. Just
first,
that right in my head.
Recap. Tell the folks how we did last week. I think we did, 5 out of 6? 5.5 out of 6?
Last week was pretty good. So let's start it off. So last week, yours truly, Henry Ruggs, TJ Hawkinson, studs. Austin Eckler. I don't know that anyone was predicting a 45-0 shutout.
No.
Dud. Brock Allen Robinson, not good for DFS. Good enough for season-long fantasy. Nyheim Hines, same thing. Not necessarily for DFS. Good for season-long. But his boy, Jamison Crowder, absolutely went berserk.
Probably the steal. If you picked him, he was definitely a home run with 2 touchdowns.
A contest winner, a week winner, him and Darren Waller, which unfortunately neither of us picked. And then on the fade side, I had Kyler Murray, not worth daily, but was good enough to get you your points in season long. Dalvin Cook just completely whiffed on that one. My thinking was Alexander Madison would take some of that workload. Dalvin was kind of recuperating. He was 90% on his ankle, but Alexander Madison had an appendectomy, so whatever. And then DK Metcalf, not a good week for him.
For his standards and his price.
Yes. Travis Fulgham, nothing.
No, nothing. 0.
Austin Eckler, next to nothing. Chris Carson, a little bit off on that one.
The touchdown at the end really catapulted him up. I mean, he probably was at 14 points, 13 points, and then a 30-yard touchdown catch really catapulted him into a good pick.
So if you look at it from a holistic standpoint, from an overall standpoint, 9 really good / good enough picks, 3 just completely whiffed on it. We'll take 9 out of 12 any day of the week. So we're going to get right into it. We talked about this a little bit last week, Brock. We typically don't like to pick Packers players as our fantasy studs of the week, but I feel this strongly that this player is going to go absolutely bananas, ape shit, as I've said in the past. Aaron Jones is my first fantasy stud. He will finish this week as RB1. Not an RB1, the RB1.
The highest point getter of the week?
Yes, sir. For running backs.
All right, you heard it.
Damn right.
My first stud, I think he has a bounce-back game. I think the whole team has a bounce-back game. It's a very favorable matchup, as everyone knows. If you play the Jets, you should have a good game. I'm going Tyler Lockett on this one. Obviously, you could go DK, but I think Tyler Lockett, I think Russell Wilson goes back to Mr. Reliable, and just coming off a stinker of a performance, I think they air it out and just spread the ball out. And I think Tyler Lockett's going to be one of those guys that gets you like 10 catches for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns.
So last week, the Jets gave up a last-second touchdown that kept you alive in a survivor pool.
That they did.
Do the Seahawks put up like 63 points and someone else lose their job for the Jets this week? We'll see. We'll see. It could be. So my number 2, I was debating whether to go with this guy or his teammate. They're playing the Atlanta Falcons. I am going with Keenan Allen. It was tough considering between him and Mike Williams. Figured I'd go with the higher ceiling, higher floor kind of guy, especially in PPR. So Keenan Allen against the Falcons is my number 2.
Especially coming off that another stinker of a performance. So I could easily see Keenan Allen. I had him, but I switched it because we don't like to give you the same 6-pack. We ain't gonna share the same beer. We want our own. So
right.
I am giving the tight end some love. Mark Andrews coming off the COVID list against the Browns. I think this matchup plays well for them. Browns have been playing very well, but I just think Mark Andrews provides Lamar that solid number one target for him, and just performed pretty well on his first game back.
Be helpful if Lamar Jackson actually knew how to throw a football, but whatever.
And well, when you're 6'4", 6'5", and a big body like Mark Andrews, he doesn't have to be very accurate, as we've seen earlier in the season, where Mark Andrews was the most wide open you could be, and Lamar throws it 8 yards to the right, and he still catches it. So that's, I mean, it's as easy as that. His catch radius is pretty impressive as well.
My third pick, trying to scan through my notes here, because this might be the first time that this has happened for us. I'm picking a defense as my third stud of the week. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints defense. I'm picking on low-hanging fruit here with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts struggles. I think he throws a couple of interceptions. I think he fumbles on a scramble. I think the Saints have a high possibility of getting a defensive touchdown. They might even pitch a shutout. So I'm going with the New Orleans Saints as my third stud of the week.
And they have been the best defense in the league, I think, since week 9. So it's a very solid pick there. I'm going with Wisconsin own Jonathan Taylor versus the Raiders. The Raiders gave up 100+ yards to Ty Johnson and the Jets. So that offensive line in Indy is just
a little bit better than the Jets.
Maybe just a couple. But I think JT could have his career game so far as a rookie, obviously. But I think he could easily tear that Raiders defense apart, especially how bad they played last week. I can just see it just being a repeat performance, because John Gruden, I don't know what he does. He's kind of there, sometimes a good coach and sometimes not. And I could see this being back-to-back games where his defense just doesn't perform.
Speaking of John Gruden, speaking of people who sometimes they perform, sometimes they don't, my first fantasy dud of the week, a guy that I'm fading in DFS, a guy that I'm probably not starting in season long, Josh Jacobs. I am staying 100% away from him. He will not be in any of my DFS lineups all week, or this weekend, I should say.
Yeah, I think the Colts defense getting DeForest Buckner obviously is a big help.
Yes, sir.
Because they got torched when he wasn't in there, but now he's back.
2 weeks.
So.
Yep. Absolutely.
So that's definitely. I have no plans on taking him either. But my number one, feeding off that Saints defense, I'm going Miles Sanders. I think it's just going to be a world of hurt. They're going to put a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts to get the ball out quick, make split-second decisions. They're going to take the run game away and make Jalen Hurts beat them in the air. I just think that's a recipe for a disaster if you're a Miles Sanders owner or thinking about picking him this week.
Yeah, Miles Sanders is a guy who hasn't gotten it done in a few weeks. Last week he looked good against the Packers a little bit, and then they just
kept subbing him out.
Yeah, just didn't use him. They brought in Jordan Doo-Doo Howard for some reason.
Yeah, they just signed him a couple weeks ago just because he had a good game. Yeah, because he had a good game last year against the Packers. That's not going to do anything.
Yep. My number 2, I will preface this by saying I think that it's a guy who is a must start in season long. I think that he will not have a good game because he won't have to have a good game. I think Chris Carson is a stud this week. So the guy I'm fading is Russell Wilson, my preseason NFL MVP. I think they get back to 2 years ago Seahawks offense in this game and run the ball 30 times, and Russ passes it 20 times maybe. So Russell Wilson is my second fade.
That's where we kind of see a little bit differently. I think they're going to air it out. You think they're going to run it. So, but I mean, that makes for interesting football and interesting podcasts.
Yep.
So my number 2, I'm going Juju Smith-Schuster versus the Bills. Bills defense has played pretty well all season, always has been the last few years. And the Steelers just haven't been playing good football the last few weeks. So I don't see them having a great game versus the Bills. And right now the Steelers are underdogs going into a Buffalo. So again, another game to watch. Should be very interesting if you're a Steelers fan to after coming off a loss against Washington, which I picked. But coming off a loss, facing this tough Bills team, I think it's going to be a very, very spread out game, and just I don't think a very good game for Juju. I think it could be like a Deontay Johnson or Chase Claypool kind of game, and just Juju hasn't been getting the love like he has been the last few years, so kind of fading away from him.
Yeah, I was going to say, listening to and watching a little bit of that Steelers game, it reminded me almost of the Packers a few years ago with how many easy, simple drops they had between Ebron, Juju, Deontay. They all had a few of them. So I think that's a good call for to be fading Juju shit poopster this week. My third one, I'm gonna not hedge my bets, but I'll tell you, I'm gonna give you three guys because I decide. Me and Brock talked about it pre-show. Number 1, Devontae Parker, fade him unless Ryan Fitzpatrick starts, then he's a stud. Number 2, I lied. There's only gonna be 2, not 3. Antonio Brown is a stud this week. I think it's a Chris Godwin game. I think they try to get Mike Evans right. I think Antonio Brown's just complete. He's going to be like OBJ and like complete shit.
And just not play even?
No.
Or just not get the targets?
No. I just don't think he has a good game. Not targeted. Whatever. Just not a good game. We'll see if he tries to attack like a valet driver or something before the game even starts. Who knows?
Well, I'm going that same game for my third, but I'm going opposite side. I'm fading away from Dalvin Cook this week. You faded him last week. I'm fading him this week because he ran the ball 32 times last week, which is in this NFL is unheard of.
Unless you're Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but he's a
different animal
being.
Yeah.
So, not only because he carried it 32 times last week, but it is against a very good defensive front. Devin Smith in the middle, one of the fastest linebackers in the league, aka Mr. Devin White. I just think that run defense is top notch, and Kirk Cousins is not very good passer. I just think I see the Buccaneers just handling this game pretty easily, and Kirk's just going to have to pass the ball because they're going to stop the run. That's what. That's the only thing you got to do is really make Kirk beat you. I mean, Justin Jefferson is amazing, and Thielen is equally amazing, and I just don't trust Kirk against that defense. It's just going to be pressure in his face all game.
Yeah.
So just fade away from Dalvin Cook, especially at that price range. I just don't see it.
Absolutely. So moving on to this next subject for us, we have our locks and upsets of the week. Again, let's do a little bit of rewind. Let's look back to last week. Last week, yours truly went 3-0. Brock last week went 2-1, but one of those two was a real ballsy call. The Washington football team upsetting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brock, you also had the Bills over the Niners. The one you got wrong was the Seattle Seahawks over the Giants. I had the Dolphins.
I think everybody who picked that game picked the Seahawks. So I don't feel terrible about that one. So because everybody and their mother picked it.
Yeah. Everybody and their mother. I had the Dolphins over the Bengals, the Vegas Raiders over the Jets, which again, Brock, he's still alive in that survivor pool. I had the Lions
Road to a million.
Lions over the Bears. So looking forward to this week. 5-1 last week again. You find people who can go 5-1 consistently, stick with them. If you're looking for new guys to get you to 5-1 consistently, here we are. That's all I gotta say.
Looking at but looking at this, I mean, we're not going to be 5-1 this week. That's someone's going to be.
I'll be
I guess
3-0.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
My
Go
number
ahead.
one.
Get your number one.
Let's get it right out of the way here, Brock. The Cleveland Browns will beat the Baltimore Ravens. Lock it in.
Well, don't lock it in because I have the Ravens over the Browns. My reasoning for it, Baker doesn't play 2 good games in a row. It's just, I believe what it is, it's a Sunday night game. They got flex. I believe they got flex to the Sunday night game because it was supposed to be the Cowboys. Yeah. And nobody wants to watch the Cowboys. I think it's the first time in 10 years that the Cowboys have been flexed out of a primetime game.
Monday night game.
There you go. Even better. The whole world's watching Baker collapse. That defense has played pretty good at times. I mean, they are 6-5, so they're not playing great football. But I think just under the lights, Baker doesn't have his commercials rolling at that time of night. So I think he struggles and Lamar flourishes maybe more on the ground, a little bit in the air.
Does Lamar have more than 107 passing yards this week or what? Because 107 passing yards not going to do it this week.
No, it isn't. But with Mark Andrews back, I definitely think he eclipses 200.
Big game from Nick Chubb. Big game from the Cleveland defense.
Well, you got opposing views. Who do you trust more? You decide. Leave it in the comments. Let us know who you think is going to win, the Browns or the Ravens. That's our head-to-head pick. Yeah.
After the show, Brock's can get a poll up on the old Twitter machine. Go check it out at Jock Talk Show. Give us a vote. Let us know. Obviously, I'm right.
If you're smart.
Brock's wrong.
You're gonna go with me. Look at this beard. Look at this beard.
Look like a caveman. No intelligence.
Okay. Look at this beard.
I could start a fire if I want to.
With what?
Your
neck, beard.
Look at that! Look at that!
Yeah, you're creeping out the children.
You're scaring the people, Brock. Jesus Christ!
No kids are gonna watch this with your
Speaking of kids, I will say this. So my sister-in-law and her husband and her 2 kids are staying with us right now. They don't really care about football a ton. They know football and they like it sometimes. They claim to be diehard Vikings fans. Watching the Packers game the other day.
Vikings
watching the game the other day, and Jonesy scores his touchdown, and my nephew's like, "Uncle Matt, did you see our team just score?" You're damn right I did. Damn right. Converted them already. My only goal in life is to convert a goddamn Minnesota Vikings fan into a Packers fan, and I got it. 28 years, and all the rest is retirement time, baby.
Hey, same with me. I got my nephew as poisoning in his brain right now that he's a Bears fan. Who are you? So he was wearing, when I was up there this couple weeks ago, he was wearing his Packers jersey. I was like, yes, sir. We're going in the right direction now.
Goddamn right.
But moving on.
The Browns are going to beat the Ravens. My number 2 lock.
Number 2 lock. Oh.
The Carolina Panthers over the Denver Broncos. When in doubt, pick against the Jets, the Broncos, and the Jags.
That's true. I definitely.
Sorry, Dylan.
You must have switched it on me.
Yes, I did.
Well, my number 2 pick, going against the Jags, Titans. Titans beat the Jags. I don't think that's close.
Yeah. Does Derrick Henry run for 450 yards?
Why not?
Might.
I could see him having a 200-yard game. a realistically 200-yard game, 8 touchdowns. I don't know. That Jags defense is something special, and Derrick Henry is a man. So we'll see what they do there.
My upset pick of the week, which both me and Brock got right last week. So listen in. The
big money
recently shut out Chargers will beat the Atlanta Falcons. Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, big games.
Yeah, I think Julio's going to be out too, so that really hurts Atlanta. I mean, even though Calvin Ridley's had a phenomenal season, Matt Ryan's having an okay season, but I definitely could see that upset happening. My upset, sticking with the team with no name, Washington football team beats the 49ers. And I just think that pass rush has been very good for them. I also think that San Francisco and Nick Mullins hasn't been great. And you know what? I'm believing in Alex Smith this week. I think he has one of his best games of maybe his career, but we'll see. I like him against this 49ers. He has, but I just think he's maybe this Washington team turned a corner and they're ready to take that NFC least.
Yeah, the Giants are putting up a fight to stay in contention for first place. So, all right. With that being said, Brock, take us out. Let the folks know where they can find us on social media.
Well, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You want to follow us on Spotify, go for it. Anchor, wherever you listen to your podcast, we are there. We're most active on Twitter and Facebook, so make sure you share us with your friends, family, grandmas, grandpas, cats, dogs, pigs,
guinea pigs,
spiders, hamsters, whoever. Everybody loves us, especially with a man with a beard and a man with glasses. Oh, I was going to say glasses, but yeah, that's nice enough for you. So, Matt, you got anything else for the folks?
I'm always right. Listen to me. We'll talk to you next time.